For 150 million years, dinosaurs were the undisputed kings of the Earth. And then, in what's really just a blink of an eye in geological time, they were gone. So how did that happen? Well, the real answer is a whole lot more complex than you might think.
You've probably seen the movies, right? A giant rock comes screaming out of the sky, hits the Earth, and boom, it's all over for the dinosaurs. It's super dramatic, it's cinematic, but you know what? It's not the whole story. It's not even close.
The extinction of the dinosaurs wasn't just a single unlucky event. It was a chain reaction, a cascading failure of the entire global ecosystem. Think of it like a long line of dominoes. Once the first one fell, it set off a slow, systematic collapse that just couldn't be stopped.
To really get our heads around this, it helps to think of it as a four-act tragedy. And Act 1 kicks off with a cataclysm unlike anything in recorded history, the impact itself.
So picture this. An asteroid 6 miles wide slams into what's now the Yucatan Peninsula, traveling at 40,000 miles per hour. The impact unleashes the energy of billions of atomic bombs all at once. It triggers mega-earthquakes, firestorms that sweep across continents, and tsunamis hundreds of feet high. For any creature within 1,000 miles, it was just instant annihilation. But here's the kicker. That initial blast, that was just the opening act.
The blast itself was absolutely horrific, but the real killer wasn't the fire or the floods. It was the darkness that followed. So welcome to Act 2, a world without a sun.
That impact basically vaporized a huge chunk of the Earth's crust, blasting a colossal plume of dust and sulfur high into the atmosphere. This cloud of debris spread out and wrapped around the entire planet, blocking the sun's light and plunging the Earth into a freezing, perpetual twilight. We call this an impact winter.
The oceans were the first to go. With no sunlight reaching the water, phytoplankton, the tiny organisms that form the very base of the entire marine food web, died out. This kicked off a massive chain reaction of starvation that wiped out everything, from the smallest organisms all the way up to the mighty Mosasaurus.
So, with the oceans completely collapsing, the crisis on land was actually just getting started. This brings us to Act 3, where we see how the darkness and the cold began to choke the terrestrial world.
On land, this story was just as grim. It's a pretty simple equation. No sunlight means no plants. They just withered away. So the great herbivores, like Triceratops, had nothing to eat and starved within years. And not long after that, the mighty T-Rex, with nothing left to hunt, met the exact same fate. Their size, which had always been their greatest strength, suddenly became their fatal weakness.
So who actually made it through all this? Well, it wasn't the strong, it was the adaptable. The survivors all kind of shared a common blueprint. They were small, so they didn't need a lot of food. They were omnivores, so they could eat anything they could find, seeds, insects, you name it. Many could burrow underground to escape the worst of the cold. And some, like our own early mammalian ancestors, were already used to living their lives in the dark.
But here's the thing. Even if some dinosaurs had somehow toughed it out through the cold and the dark, their fate was already sealed by the final act of this tragedy, the point of no return.
See, the asteroid wasn't the only killer. Around the same time, on the other side of the planet, in India, massive volcanic eruptions known as the Deccan Traps were just spewing greenhouse gases and toxic chemicals into the air. This created a devastating one-two punch of impact and volcanism, a hellish, unstable world where the dinosaurs simply had no chance to recover.
Which brings us right back to the core question. Why couldn't these magnificent rulers of the Earth, these animals that had been so incredibly successful for so long, adapt to this new world?
It really is a paradox. The very traits that made dinosaurs so dominant were the exact same things that led to their downfall. Their giant size required massive amounts of food. Their high metabolism meant they couldn't go long without eating. And their specialized diets made them vulnerable. All of these were huge advantages in a stable world, but in a world thrown into chaos, they became fatal liabilities.
So it's totally wrong to think of dinosaurs as evolutionary failures. They were a staggering success story. They were perfectly optimized for the world they lived in for millions of years. Their only mistake was being perfectly adapted to a world that, in a geological instant, simply ceased to exist. Their downfall left this profound void. I mean, for the first time in 150 million years, the planet was an empty stage. What happened next would define the future of all life on Earth, including our own. With the dinosaurs finally gone, our small, furry ancestors emerged from the shadows.
With no giant predators to worry about, they absolutely thrived, diversifying into the huge array of mammals we see today. And yes, that includes us.
And that is a really humbling thought. Their extinction was the necessary precondition for our existence. If that meteor had just missed Earth, or if the dinosaurs had somehow managed to adapt, the world would be a very, very different place, and it's almost certain that humans would not be in it.
Ultimately, the story of the dinosaurs is a timeless cautionary tale. It's a powerful reminder that no matter how successful or dominant any species or civilization or even a company might be, a sudden, drastic change in the environment can make all of that success completely irrelevant. It's a lesson from 66 million years ago that we'd be very wise to remember.